We're going to take the North and never give it back.
So that's a good pick. You get the corner. I got to go bold, right? I got to go bold for this.
Yeah, she's got some nice.
Welcome back to the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Barron. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're out there on YouTube. And also rate the show 5 stars everywhere that you get your podcast. Just download the show. Just search for Unbearable Sports everywhere that you get your podcast, whether that's Spotify, Apple, wherever. Search for the show out there. But what's going on, everybody? We're kind of going back to the normal show formula of one of my favorite days. Normally we're dressing up for this, but based on what was going on with the Bears and just not a great season, we're not going to be dressing up with bow ties. It is awards season. So what we're going to do is just kind of go through and hand out our awards. Most Improved, Rookie of the Year, Brent Urban Award, Cody Parkey Award, Offensive and Defensive MVPs, and also favorite player out there. So that's what we're going to be going through today, but also we have to go through some of the news that's going out there as well. So I'll just start it off with a couple little nuggets for all those people looking for news. And let me just see, my computer's acting up on me right now. There we go. Now I'm back up. A couple little pieces. So some new coaches. Some new coaches added to the list as if we didn't have enough. So now Matt Campbell, the Iowa State coach, is on our list now too. We've requested to interview him. And also Cliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator for the Commanders. We talked a little bit about him yesterday, saying, hey, the Bears have already interviewed him. So we're interested to see if they actually want to be talking to each other. Like I've said, I still feel like Cliff Kingsbury wants to just learn more with the Commanders. But hey, right now he's the number 2. When you look at the odds, he's number 2 to be the Bears head coach, even when they didn't have the official invite out to Cliff Kingsbury to be a candidate. So it does say something. So also too, yeah, like in Peril saying, yeah, which one of the 487 candidates is our favorite head coach that's out there? For sure. I see Joe out there, bear down, Taco Man, Lisan Akaib. Let's go. I love it. I actually have the shirt that you can get in the merch store, but my wife washed it, so it's like extra small, so I need to get a new one. But I do like this shirt. I got to get one. But let's talk a little bit more about some of the news before we get into the actual award show. So a couple other pieces too. Diana Rossini, she's the person that we were originally talking about that had the list of candidates the Bears are looking at. And she said, on Pardon My Take, the Bears 100% have their eye on Johnson and Mike Vrabel for sure as their top candidates for head coach. So even though that we have, I think it's up to 16 head coaches that we are bringing in, it's really, from what Diana Rossini's talking about, is that it does seem like the Bears have a brain, which is good, that, hey, it's just a 2-person show right now with Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel. And that's how a lot of us feel. That's how a lot of people feel with this. My only concern is just make sure that they know that they're the top candidates that out there. Make sure that they feel special, not like one of 16. It's like dating someone, right? You don't want to know that she's hanging out with 16 other people. You want to know that she's all in on you, right? Like that's what you really kind of want to know. So as long as they have that, right? It's like us Bears fans saying, hey, we never interviewed O'Connell. And you know what? Brian Poles is like, really? Well, I'm going to interview every coach that's out there. If they have a pulse, I'll bring them in. I'll interview them so that there's none of that anymore. But yeah, as long as we come away with one of the top prizes, that's what I care about. But let's talk a little bit about Mike Vrabel, because the Bears did have a virtual interview with him. Now, all their interviews that they're going to be having are going to be virtual. Now, you'd like it to be in person, but with virtual, right? I don't love that. But at the same time, Mike Vrabel is the heavy favorite to be the head coach of the Patriots. Right now, the odds are negative or minus 400 for him to be the next Patriots head coach. You have Adam Schefter using the words absolutely the leading candidate for the Patriots head coaching job. Albert Breer also backs that up. Like everything, like what he said from the jump, the way that they jumped off of Gerard Mayo and now seemingly going to be attacking Mike Vrabel. They also, if you haven't seen this, they brought in 2 black coaches just to kind of get the Rooney Rule out of the way, that like makes it so that you at least consider diversity as a head coaching candidate. The Patriots are like, let's get this out of the way. They clearly chose 2 people that might not even be candidates for an offensive coordinator job just to get them in the building, interview them. And yeah, it's a low blow from the Patriots organization, but it does seem like they're moving fast on Mike Vrabel to get that to happen. So that's what it does kind of feel like, but that's where it leads to Ben Johnson. And Dan Wiederer said that the Bears and Ben Johnson's interest is mutual, according to Dan Wiederer, which is awesome to hear. But also, too, Ben Johnson is going to be potentially interviewing with the Raiders. So now they fired their head coach, and now the Raiders are another organization that might be in on him, which kind of a dark horse just because they have Brady. Maybe he likes the idea of building something with Brady as one of the owners, but something just to at least look out for. And also, the other player for the Ben Johnson sweepstakes, the Jaguars, Ben Johnson is no longer the favorite to go to the Jaguars right now. Minus 300 is Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm fine with Liam Cohen going over there. And that just means Ben Johnson, more narrow focus for the Chicago Bears. So that's what's going on right now. Feels good so far, but at the same time, not about you all. Part of me is like, Bears are going to mess this up. I don't know how they're going to mess this up. It's like all the signs point to Ben Johnson should be their head coach. It's just like something happens. This is how we feel at the end of games. It's the game's going well, but now we're going to fumble it. Now we're going to commit a penalty. Now we're going to throw it to Emir Smith-Marset, right? Like something's going to happen. It's our Bears PTSD. Like, okay, it should, but will it? But will it? Watch. Now he's just going to be bad, right? That's what's going to ultimately end up going. So, yeah. So also too, let's see what else is out there as well. The only other news before we get into the actual award show and everything else like that, Fitzpatrick was talking about Brian Flores. And this is something that I've also talked about on this show, that Brian Flores is someone that I have heard from with people that covered the Dolphins. They do not like Brian Flores whatsoever. They're like, do not hire this guy as a head coach. He's going to be way too controlling. And Ryan Fitzpatrick brought up the terms. He said he became a dictator. He would struggle to get reference from another coach in Miami. Like he was talking about that, like, hey, good luck trying to find someone that liked him in Miami, and just ultimately became unrecognizable as some of the words that Ryan Fitzpatrick described as with Brian Flores. So if the Bears are bringing in Brian Flores, the big thing is what's different about him in Minnesota versus him in Miami? What is he going to do different? And do you believe that he's going to do something different? Because from all accounts, it sounds like like they said, this is exactly the same type of language I heard too, where Flores was essentially a dictator in Miami, and that was it. And that's why, like defensive coordinator, he's good because he just owns his little tiny piece, and that's it. So that's why he's really got to have a good interview, really have some good, like, hey, listen, I've changed. Because Flores could be a great coach. He really could. He could be the diamond in the rough out here because what he's been able to do in Minnesota. Now, you just have to make sure that you did, in fact, change and you did learn from something that's out there. So that's what's going out there. So let's see. The last little bit too that I just want to call out before we get into the award show. Bill Belichick, some teams from the NFL, it's been reported they've reached out to Bill Belichick to say, hey, do you want to coach in the NFL? Because he still can kind of get out of his deal before he can still get out of his deal and go to the NFL if he wants to. He has some language in there. Some people were looking at it, but it was reported that people were reaching out to Belichick, even though he's accepted the North Carolina college job, that, hey, do you want to come over? Do you want to try and coach? Do you want to do something like that? And hey, knowing the Bears, it was probably them because we've already talked to 200 coaches so far. So it was probably us too. So we'll see with that. But let's see what the comments is saying. out there. Before we get started with with our actual topic of discussion, let's see. We're seeing Vrabel, and then Cliff. The Rooney Rule needs to be updated, right? Like if you're trying, like what are we trying to do? We're trying to make it so that like everyone's got a fair shot and stuff like that. You have to reword it. You have to do something. Yeah, it's not being used properly. At all. It's one of those things like in practice they meant well, but it's just not being used. It's not being used well. Totally agree. But let's see. And also Shy Drax, what's good? Hype Rider, we got Cliff, we got all bunch of people. Let's go. And then Shy Drax, if they hire another defensive head coach, I'm done. Dude, they were bringing in a lot of them. So but we also heard like Ryan Poles, I mean, not like it means the world, just kind of talk about how, hey, we need to have someone that can someone that can actually like figure out this quarterback position, because that's definitely what we need. So let's get started with our 2024 Chicago Bears awards, and let's get started officially with the most improved player. So last year, most improved, we had Jalen Johnson was the award winner because he came from like he wasn't that good of a corner to becoming one of the best cornerbacks in the league. So let me know what you think. And like what Shy Drax said, hit the like and then also comment down below. Who's your candidate? Who do you think should be the most improved Chicago Bear this year? So I know like some of the candidates that we had midway through the season, we brought up Caleb Williams because Caleb Williams was getting better throughout the season. At the beginning of the season, our candidate that we're saying we think it's probably going to be him is Gervon Dexter. Quite frankly, Gervon is looking really good. When we started this, I just kind of want to throw out some of the candidates that we had. We had Caleb. We had as a potential. This is absolutely not right now, but we brought up what about basically everybody on the offensive line? Like, and at that point, it was like Nate Davis. Is he not going to suck? Spoiler alert, he sucked. And then we have Tevin Jenkins. We have Braxton Jones. We have Darnell Wright. If they can kind of take that next step. And quite frankly, when you're looking at the line, I think that Darnell Wright did pretty well. He's gotten a lot better. I saw some stats out there, like yet again, PFF grades. Darnell graded very, very high amongst other right tackles out there in the league. And you look at other players, Kyler was one of our like kind of finalists for this. Kyler Gordon has improved significantly. Last year, we thought we were going to see more of him. Kyler's been really good. And then other candidates that we had was, we were like, what about Tyreek Stevenson or Brisker? No. Edmonds, no. And then we were like, what if, this is when we were first talking, we're like, what if Tyler Scott or Cole Kmet? No, both of them really fell off this year. And then the new person that we put as a candidate was DeMarcus Walker. So if I whittle that down to who's an actual candidate, I'd say DeMarcus Walker, because DeMarcus Walker, he had a good start, but he played a little bit better, but kind of teetered out later on. But I think really what this boils down to, I think Darnell Wright, I think Gervon Dexter, and I think Kyler Gordon. I think when you're looking across the board, these are the players. Unfortunately, we just have 3, but these are the players that we really saw kind of blossom and turn into something. So let me see what y'all are saying out there. Let's see. So we got Gervon Dexter as someone. Taco Man saying Bill Murray. Oh man, Taco Man. I was going through the list and we had Bill Murray as a candidate for some things that we added midway through. And I'm like, oh man, I miss Bill Murray, if only. I'm probably saying Roshan, when he was asked to do stuff. Yeah. Like, I think that it really boils down to Gervon and Kyler. I think those are the two people that Kyler was good last year, though. I think that's the only thing. I think Kyler has been the better player. Kyler's been amazing. But I think Gervon. I think ultimately I'm going to go with Gervon. Gervon Dexter. Most improved Chicago Bears. And if someone's watching this later on, let me know. Let me know for sure. Also, Sean, what's good, my friend? Hope you're doing well. So yeah, we just crowned Gervon Dexter the most improved Chicago Bear of 2024. That's what we wanted to see. So, and actually, Shy Drax, you made a really good point. So I'm actually going to probably bring up Kyler for a different award down the road, down the line, because there's one that I think he might have to win. So yeah, to me, it was Jervon or Kyler. It was definitely one of those two, because I think the reason why I'm giving it to Jervon is he wasn't good. He wasn't that good his rookie year, but then you had Kyler really kind of blossom and be, Kyler was good last year, but then this year was really great. So I'm going to ultimately give it to Jervon. So let's go to the most difficult award. And also, I forgot to show off my graphics here. The most improved player. There we go. And then second, we got Rookie of the Year. So I think this is a pretty easy one. It's Tory Taylor. I mean, honest, I said it as a joke, and now I'm like, wait a second, he actually did the most things. So we were like, yeah, Tory Taylor. Everyone's saying Tory Taylor. We have Caleb, Rome, Karan, Tory, Booker. So let's see. We have to go with Caleb. Honorable mention, Tory Taylor, because I will not give. We already drafted a punter in the 4th round. We will not be giving him more stuff. But yeah, Adunze he had his ups and downs. I really thought that he was going to do well at the very end. But when you look at it, Caleb, good season. So when you look at the numbers, you look at some of what he was able to do, it was solid. You're going again. You have 3 different offensive coordinators. Good stuff. And in Peril saying, love Caleb, but Tory Taylor punted more yards than we had offense. That's true. That is true. So Caleb, I'm giving it to Caleb. I have to. And then Tory gets the honorable mention, because we still have to go through the Cody Parkey Award, everyone. That's going to bring us down a couple notches. That's like you got to have a drink with you as you do it. Because when you do that, you're like, oh man, especially this time. I was driving in my car and I'm like, oh man, we have so many disappointing players we have to go through. So yeah. But let's go through the next piece, which is the Brent Urban Award, which this one always throws everybody off. And I need to change the text because we figured out what the Brent Urban Award should officially be. So for those that are too young or new Bears fans, first off, you chose a poor team to bandwagon. But Brent Urban was someone from, it was like the 2018, 2019 seasons where he just did big plays. And you always remembered him because he would get a sack and play the electric guitar and just do some air guitar. And he was and smash it. Like he was this backup. And so the Brent Urban Award goes out to the backup. So we're going to make that out there. So we're saying it goes out to a backup player or like a specific role player that just plays one specific role that you don't expect to be a good player, but they just give you good production. So just as someone that was out there, we were saying like Ryan Bates was a candidate, but definitely not because he was injured the whole time. And we were saying like Terrell Smith is someone, Jonathan Owens is a good, actually the actual candidates should be like a Terrell Smith, a Jonathan Owens, someone that comes in, Elijah Hicks, Darrell Taylor, a Roshan Johnson, a Matt Pryor, Doug Kramer, not Doug Kramer, Bill Murray. Bill Murray was actually someone that we're like, oh man, just wait till we have an injury on the offensive line. Bill Murray's going to come in. He's going to save us all. Everything's going to be great. And then Bill Murray goes down. So let's see what's out there too. Ron saying bear down. Oh, Blackwell. That's a good one. Drax. That's a good one. So let's go through some of the candidates. Actually, before we go through candidates, I'm going to go through the depressing piece, right? We haven't gone to our Cody Parkey Award yet, but these are all going to be Cody Parkey potential award winners. Because when we were talking about this at the beginning of the season, we wanted to throw everybody out there as who could potentially be this unsung hero that plays one specific role that is a backup that does something. And on this list, yet again, just throwing out the names, it was like, what about Khalil Herbert? He was traded. What about Valus? He was released. What about Ryan Bates? He was injured. What about Jack Sanborn? I love him, but he really sucked this year. Austin Booker, very good in the preseason, did nothing during the regular season. And Gerald Everett did something out in California, but hasn't done anything and was actually a giant liability for us. So, yeah, not good there. Lots of candidates for that Cody Parkey Award, but for the Brent Urban Award, yeah, I'm looking Terrell Smith, Jonathan Owens, Blackwell, like the way that he was able to kind of fit in. I like that for him. And Matt Pryor might low-key be it. Because Matt Pryor legit was supposed to be the backup. And then I don't know, because this is the hardest part about the Brent Urban Award is that I'm the creator of it, but I still don't know the rules. Because Matt Pryor, he was the backup and he literally started the entire time. So is he a starter or is he a backup? Because he technically did exactly what you wanted and he filled the role very, very well. Like as well as he could for a backup offensive lineman to be thrusted in. But I mean, going through everyone else, Terrell Smith is someone. Yeah. Like Terrell Smith is someone that I liked. Yeah, Pryor helped. It might be Pryor. And, I just want to call out Darrell Taylor because he was someone that we're like, oh man, he's going to win this. Look at that. And then all of a sudden he's like, no, I'm going to go back to reality. Jacob Martin looked great coming out. And then all of a sudden, nope, he went back down to reality. So if I'm looking at this, because Roschon was banged up. I love Roschon, but I think he was too banged up. I thought Elijah Hicks was a little banged up as well. I think if we're going to give it, Jonathan Owens played well, but I'm going through it. I'm going to delete some of these people on my screen, and let's see, Matt Pryor, Jonathan Owens, Blackwell, or Smith. I'm going to actually post this out in a poll. Let you all choose. Let's see, Brent Urban Award. Pryor, Blackwell. Who else did I have? Pryor, Blackwell, Smith, or Owens. This one I can't really choose. Or this one's tough. Because Pryor did probably fill in the most. He filled in the most. He played very well. Blackwell had some special little plays towards the end. Smith, the good part about Smith is we don't want Tyreek Stevenson to be out there anymore. And Owens, I think, quietly played great. So let me know what y'all think out there in the comments. Right now, Pryor is the quick and easy favorite that's out there. So I think it's probably going to end up Matt Pryor just because he filled in, did well. Blackwell getting a couple votes too, because Blackwell filled in towards the very end. And he was that special teamer that you kind of didn't expect much from. And I know a lot of us too. I was even thinking that Matt Pryor was going to get cut because remember when we got rid of Jatiri Carter, we're like, what? Actually, I think that we called that Jatiri Carter wasn't going to be out there. But I was a little surprised that still Pryor was out there. And also no love for Mr. Simone Biles. 0% votes out there. So I'll say it. Let's call it Matt Pryor, the winner of the Brent Urban Award. We're going to go with that. Now, Hypewriter did say, did he have any big plays? Yeah, he did. I already gave it to him, but that's a good point, though. That is a good point. So let's see. Let's see what else is next. And we have my favorite award, just from the aesthetic, just the giant poop emoji. This is the best award that we actually have, but the worst award, the Cody Parkey Award. This is the most disappointing player of the 2024 season. Who is our most disappointing player? Because here, I'm going to go on a rant of disappointment. So if we're looking at disappointment, this might be the back-to-back champ. Because last year, we actually gave it out to two people last year. it was Chase Claypool and Nate Davis we gave this out to. And when we look at it, so first off, we'll start with quarterback. Caleb kind of disappointed for a lot of people's expectations. Like we said, he wasn't the runaway Bears rookie of the year, right? So then we have Swift. Was disappointing at running back. Keenan Allen was kind of disappointing at wide receiver. DJ Moore was disappointed about the entire season. And then, Rome, I don't think he did as well as we want. But then we go to tight ends. Well, Cole Kmet was not a Cole Kmet. And we also have Gerald Everett, who played absolutely abysmal and was a gigantic liability. Then you go to the offensive line. The offensive line was a giant disappointment. No one bigger than Nate Davis, who just decided not to even show up to practice. And then we go out to the defensive line. And quite frankly, the defensive line, we were already kind of disappointed. Let's be real. We were already disappointed with them at the beginning. Darrell Taylor's the only one Zach Pickens is the only one that would be out there. But then we go over to the linebackers. You have Tremaine Edmonds over pursuing every single down. So at least the defense, and then Tyreek Stevenson, he's also up there too. And Takaman, yeah, Sweat, that's right. Sweat could even be up there too because he's supposed to be holding it down, not holding it down. Yep, Karan Amagaji. Oh man, this is what happens with the Cody Parkey Award. We go, oh, we have all these people. And then, Hype Rider's saying, Bayless. Yeah, Bayless. How can we forget? It's just this gigantic list of just sadness. And okay, so I'm going through my original potentially Cody Parkey Awards at the beginning of the season. And I threw the entire offensive line, Zach Pickens, because we're like, Zach Pickens is not going to be good. I put then one that I actually threw out there was even Cairo Santos, because I remember saying, I'm like, there's a new punter. What if there's some things that are wrong with Santos? And we've been more disappointed with them anyways. So let's see. And then Takaman saying Tevin. Yeah, Tevin was banged up. We got Broski saying Braxton Jones. Yeah, Braxton. I was hoping Braxton was going to do something. And Peril saying Gerald Everett, we paid him $6 million to do absolutely nothing. Yeah, exactly. And oh man, Bayless, we could have had a draft pick for too. Like, oh man, this is the worst part of the award. It's like, man, how much disappointment do we have? Montez Sweat literally was our defensive MVP last year. And and then Tremaine Edmonds, just, dude, I just feel like it's Nate Davis. Yeah. And Nate Davis, I also kind of want to have him be like our first ever back-to-back champ. Like we could name this the Nate Davis Award. And Nate Davis wouldn't even care. He'd be sitting on his butt, like eating potato chips and being like, yeah, man, but I got $20 million of the McCaskey's money. So, it is what it is. And Karan. Yeah. And Peril's saying not a fan giving it to a cut player. I think we'll do the same thing that we did last season, I think. Because last season we gave it to Chase Claypool and Nate Davis because Nate Davis finished the season. So I think because of that, let's do that. Oh, Ron, you're not blocked. I see you out there. I see Swift. And then I see, Swift 1 yard to carry. Sorry, there's a lot of text going out there. No worries, man. But let's see. So we have Nate Davis. Yeah, Nate Davis is getting the Cody Parkey Award for the first half of the crap. So that is the big thing for him. That is the first half. Now who finishes the season? And this is where it might be Gerald Everett. So if we're thinking about people that finished the season, I think if we're looking at people that are, I just got one. Tyler Scott. And Tyler Scott was someone that I put at my top of the list. And I remember some people being like, no, Tyler Scott's good. And it's like, Tyler Scott is up there. I'd say DeAndre Swift, Tyler Scott, Kmet, Everett, and we need one for someone who just doesn't play and one that actually does play. Yeah, true, broski. Tyler Scott shouldn't count. Yeah. Pickens. I mean, Pickens, we already saw that he kind of sucked. It might be Gerald Everett. I do think it might. Like Gerald Everett was he was good, and he was just absolute trash. Like not even close to being not even close to being good. So Swift too, but Swift we also paid a lot of money for. He had a couple good games at least. Gerald Everett had 0. So I don't know. Here, I'll leave it out to the chat too. Start a Q&A. No, not Q&A. Start a poll. Most disappointing Montez Everett. Got Swift. And then who else did I have on my little notes? I'm going to go with, for my 4th person to add on, I'm going to add Cole Kmet, because I know a lot of us weren't not happy with his performance down the road. So let's see what y'all have to say about that, because I think that if you look at who had the biggest drop off, it might be Montez. Swift got the most money and didn't perform great. Everett, which I spelt his name wrong, he really did nothing. Let's see what y'all are saying. Then Kmet, I think Kmet was probably the most public disappointment, because because the whole podcast thing kind of came under fire for that. But the thing though is, it feels like Everett's gone after this year. You can cut him. Swift is one that Swift might. I feel like there's probably people that still think that maybe if we get a good running system and everything like that, that could. But yeah, he was not good. He needs the number 1 offensive line in the league to be good. Well, let's see. All right, I'm calling it. Going Gerald Everett, the most disappointing player. And you know what? That we have Everett is the most disappointing. And then we have Nate Davis winning 2 different types of Cody Parkey awards. The you didn't even finish Cody Parkey award. And because it's a double doink. That's it. That's the connection. We have the double doink. 1 doink is Nate Davis. 1 doink is Gerald Everett. That's how we're doing this in the future. Let's go. So that's enough disappointing. Actually, this entire season has been disappointing. So let's get this one out of the way. The offensive MVP for the Chicago Bears. Let's talk about the offensive MVPs. Last year, it was DJ Moore. And let's see. Offensive MVP, and actually Antonio's saying Tremaine for most disappointing. Let's see, offensive MVP. Who is it? I know when we were kind of going out there, we were like, who should it be? Should it be Keenan? Like, would it be a wide receiver? Would it be a quarterback? Would it be an offensive lineman? I think it's 2 people. It's either Caleb or DJ. But here's the thing. Like, I don't want to give it to DJ. I don't want to give it to DJ. I like DJ in the sense that DJ, they were literally just throwing screens to him and he was getting his stuff. His attitude, didn't like him. So I don't want DJ I don't like the way that he was acting. So that's my thing with DJ. Yeah. See, that's my thing, is like his attitude, he doesn't get this award. That's my feeling. I didn't like the way that he was acting out there. I'm going to just do Caleb. Oh, and I like what I'm seeing out there in the comments with Sean. And I know someone else was saying that too. I'm kind of scrolling up. I saw Wright a couple times out there in the comments. Yeah. Taco Man saying it. I think it is there. Sorry, Hype Rider. I'm sorry, my man. But yeah, so let's see. I'm going to do Caleb. I think it's easy. Caleb's going to be it. I'm going to go with Caleb ultimately. Boom. Caleb Williams, offensive MVP. I think also too, early on, the reason why I give it to him too, early on, like they literally leaned on him for everything because the run game wasn't going. So I'm going to give it to him, put the team on his back. Honorable mention. I'll actually put Darnell Wright as an honorable mention. I think that Darnell played pretty well. Yeah, cheerleaders. Yeah, offensive MVP was whoever had the ice for Caleb Williams. Let's go to defensive MVP, where I think this will be interesting. It's not Montez Sweat. Montez Sweat was it last year. Now, Montez, as we said, kind of fell off, and we talked about Edwards. So Edwards, like, he also kind of didn't do as well. But still, you're not paying him as much. Edmonds, God, no, definitely not Edmonds. I like hype writers. Andrew Billings, the clear defensive MVP. Yes. I think Andrew Billings and Jaquan Brisker, those two combined, defensive MVP. Because as soon as they were gone, everything went to crap. They are clearly the defensive MVPs. But I think if we're gonna give it to someone, Jalen Johnson was great. I think otherwise Kyler Gordon was real good. Broski saying Edwards and Byard. I actually do have Byard out there, Broski. So I do have him on my list. Don't worry. No worries. I have Byard out there because here's the thing. Byard was the person that was making most of the tackles with their crappy run defense. He was also a very good coverage player. And yeah, good coverage grades. I think if we're going to be talking about people that were defensive MVP, unfortunately, I can't give it to Billings Cliff because with him being banged up a little bit. Gordon, I like what Marcus is saying. I like what Drax is saying. Let's see. So if we had the candidates, I am going to put the candidates out there. I will let you, the people, this will be a people's award. Who is the defensive MVP? Kyler? Let's see. Jalen. I'll do Byard. I liked Byard. And just because I saw this name out there a lot, I'll put good old Billings. Just in case. I saw a lot of Billings out there. Billings actually already got a vote. Sorry, Broski, I didn't throw out Edwards. I wanted to see more out of him. He's still good. He's still good. I did. I didn't add Edwards. I could only add 4 people to the list, and right now it's smack dab down the middle. Unless I do see people with Edwards. Here, now I'll do it out here then. Okay, I'll do the last one. Just for you guys. I will do who is defensive MVP. And we'll do this will be the real one. Billings, Kyler, or Edwards. I'll put TJ Edwards so that people know we're not talking about Tremaine Edmonds. This is the people's defensive MVP. I had a feeling as soon as I added Edwards. Here's the thing, like Jalen is a very good cover guy. Byard was, like I said, Byard played really well. Very good free agent acquisition. We got then Kyler. I think that Kyler played great. I thought that Kyler was also in on a lot of run stops. Thought Edwards played. Billings. Yeah, you guys were asking why is Billings out there? Because for the memes. Billings, because as soon as he went down, everything went down. All right. TJ, the people have spoken. We'll give it to TJ. This is why we did the process of elimination, even though Jalen wasn't on the very end. We're going with TJ Edwards. You guys got it. TJ Edwards, the defensive MVP. And when we were doing our tape stuff, yeah, from my heart, Billy. So, yeah, the thing with TJ too, I know when we were doing like our film study, I know you guys were joking about it too when I would like watch the tape. TJ Edwards made a lot of really great plays. He did make a lot of like stripping off of people and then able to make the tackles and good in coverage. He did well. So there we have it. TJ Edwards, not Tremaine Edmonds, is the best linebacker. Yet again, something that we talked about ever since TJ Edwards inked the deal. He's a better linebacker than Tremaine Edmonds. He really is. So there we go. Broski's the Broski with the Moski. That's right. And TJ was with the defense that just was not out of a defense that was out of position a lot. He's the guy. He's definitely the guy. So let's go over the last award, the favorite award out there. And this is kind of a personal award. So this is your favorite player. So then I say favorite player of the show. So this is my personal favorite, unless I can do a Brad's favorite and we can do a chat favorite as well. So let's see this. Who is your favorite player on the Bears? This is the player that when they make a play, you get up, you cheer extra loud, you go crazy, you love it. Hype Rider already out there saying, Billy, let's go. So who is your favorite player for the Bears? Because last season we had, oh no, this didn't age well. The favorite player last year was Cole Kmet. He was tough-willed. He was doing great. And then all of a sudden he gets a podcast, and those podcast people can't trust him. And now he kind of dropped off, did not play great. And we were talking about it at the beginning. We were like, what about Austin Booker? Booker potentially, but then Booker did nothing. So Booker definitely not on the list. Yeah, we got Cole. We got Cole, we got Rome, we got Caleb. I like Javon, seeing Javon play. And even, I put this down, I actually started to like DeMarcus Walker, just the way that he was playing and celebrating. But then, yeah, second half, not too much. And I actually put Billings on the list. I also really like Brisker. And yeah, I see Broski out there with Brisker too. I like Brisker. Just the way he hits, and also the way that he just trolls people online, and just the way that he talks. I really like Brisker out there too. I'm going to start making my final list. I'm seeing Hype Rider, Torrey Taylor. So Cole Kmet. And then let's see, we got Montez. Yeah, he was gimped out most of the year for sure. It's sad that like my favorite players that I'm adding right now are actually kind of like injured players. I put Brisker, I put Billings, Torrey was interesting. I agree with Marcus too. I really like that. I'm actually going to add Rome to my list because Rome, I do get up when Rome plays, and when he makes a big catch. Like my son and I, we go crazy because anytime he makes a play, my son's like, is that Rome Odunze? And we're like, yeah, it's Rome Odunze. Cole, yeah, there's that. Let's see. I'm looking at anybody else. Caleb, yeah, I do like Caleb. And actually, how could I forget this? I really like Kyler Gordon. When Kyler makes a play, that's one that I also kind of get off my couch, go a little crazy. That I like that. So yeah, I think my list, I'm actually leaving Caleb. Like if I had like 4 on my list, I really like if it's people playing, it's Rome, Kyler, and Caleb. I really like, and I honestly might give it to Kyler. I love Kyler. But then for the injured players, I like Brisker and Billings. But yeah, I think to me it's like Rome and Kyler are probably my top 2, just because I like Rome on offense, Kyler on defense. That's who I'm liking. But let me see what you guys are liking. And Beryl saying Tyreek Stevenson when he gets under. And then Cliff saying once Keenan leaves, Odunze is going to get way more targets. Yeah, it'll be funny. And Beryl saying Tyreek Stevenson pissing people off. It's funny. Yeah. Yeah, Antonio, I agree with you, man. When Kyler does those backflips, yeah, that is, I like it when he does that. So let me see what you guys have as the most favorites, because we're gonna do the People's Award. Who is chat's favorite player? This will be, we're gonna have a chat award and we're gonna have our award. So let's say I'm gonna put Rome. See, I saw Rome out there. I saw Caleb. I saw Cole. I saw Kyler. There's a lot of people out there. I'm going to keep it at that, and we'll see where that goes. I'm going to see what y'all have to say at that. Because for me, my favorite player, oh man. Oh, Rome kind of, every now and again, Rome, I love it when he makes a catch. In the spirit of the award, I love that. But I'm going to go with, I think for me, I'm going to go with Kyler. I think he's just got the swagger. I love Kyler's swagger. I love the big plays. Like when he makes a play, it makes football fun. It does. So I'm going to do, for me, Kyler, honorable mention Rome, just because I like it. And then, yeah, that's my feeling. But let's see. Let's see what chat's saying. Caleb is at 40%. Rome is at 30%. Kyler's at 20%. Cole is at 10%. So that's what we got out there. So Rome and Caleb just super, super close. But hey, it's the first rounders that are at least duking it out at the very end. You love to see it. So my personal favorite is Kyler. Looks like chat is Caleb, and with the secondary of Rome. So Rome, you're second in our hearts, but hey, you're still the number 9 pick. So for chat, I'm going to put Caleb and then Rome in parentheses as that. But man, that's it. Yeah, we got the co-favorites. I think that it's my favorite is Kyler, your favorite is Caleb, and then both of our second favorites is Rome. So Rome, the two halves make a whole. So we have 3 people then as our true favorites. But guys, this is always so much fun every single year for us to just kind of go through the season and say, hey, how do we feel? Who gets these awards? And it's always a great time. And so if you haven't already, hit like, subscribe if you're out there on YouTube. Also, if you're watching still out there, just drop a little comment. It doesn't have to be anything. It could be whatever your favorite food is to eat. Let me know. It just helps out the show tremendously. And we got you covered with all the craziness that's going in the off season. Also, we're going to have all the different updates, but keep your eyes peeled and hit the notification bell so you know next time that we go live. Thank you all so much. And with that, Unbearable Sports Podcast, we are out.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair, and you know that she's a bride.